Okay, we're back. Hi,
Hello.
everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crime, Cocktails, and BS. We are your hostesses with the mostesses, Alex and Kaisa. And full disclosure, we are both DOA today on this episode. We have rallied for you guys. And also, I'm realizing as I'm talking, I'm in all white with a black mic, and you're in all black with a white
The
mic.
white mic.
I
We
kind of love
match.
it.
Yeah.
Kind of love
We
it right
match
now.
opposites. I love it.
Who knew we could pull this off without actually talking about it
We
first?
planned it. We planned it for
Completely
sure.
planned it, obviously. But yeah, so we are just recovering from this wonderful weekend and are so happy though that you guys are excited to also be getting weekly episodes from us. Thank
Yeah,
you for
we're
being
so
so
excited.
pumped. We are excited. Yeah, after doing a 3-week hiatus of just being shitheads, we finally were like, let's get our act together and do this
I
correctly.
have a feeling it will benefit us. We'll be more entertaining, I think, when we're overtired.
Yeah, the filter goes right out the window.
I think it'll be great.
Also, I'm apologizing in advance. I'm filming from my bed because sports has come back to,
Yeah,
to the
Dana's
male
doing
population.
a
Fantasy football?
fantasy thing. Yeah, right now.
Yeah. I don't know if this is like a normal thing, but our like sports radio station has a TV channel and Colin likes to watch the radio show on the
Okay,
TV.
okay, okay.
So, but yeah, it's been college football, real pre-football, and
All of
I
that.
don't
Who
all of
knows? It's a
it.
foreign language to me,
I
but yeah.
forgot how nice it was. Like, I did not really take advantage of the summer portion of like
I
no
know.
sports. I
I
mean
forgot
baseball,
like
but it's like no
Sundays
sports.
are done. Like Sundays
I
and
know.
Mondays
Sundays
done.
are, yeah, and some Thursdays.
And Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh,
But you know what? That gives us more time
I
to
mean,
do
yeah, I can
this.
disappear and do my own thing, and it's
Yeah.
great.
I know. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in the room now and record. And he was like, okay, bye. And I was like,
And actually,
bye.
like if you need to go grocery shopping or even like hiking during a football game is the
Oh
best time
yeah,
to go. It's empty. Like no one's out. It's amazing.
that's true. Yeah, it's a really good point. You're thinking active. I was like, oh, you know where it's probably good? Home Goods. I can go to Home Goods.
Well, yeah,
It'll
it'll be
be
less
fine.
busy.
Well, also, I can't be told I can't buy some. Well, not that I cannot buy something. I'm allowed to buy
True.
whatever I want. I'm
Right.
an independent woman who has her own financial income. However, when you
There'll be no
bring them
judging
along,
eyes. Yeah.
exactly, it's like,
Yeah.
why do you want to buy that mauve pumpkin or like light up ghost? Because, it's Halloween time.
And then
So,
they make you question yourself and then you don't get it and it's no fun.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, I want the Mickey Mouse ghost shaped cookie jar that I'm going to put candy in, and it's for me, and I'm fine with that.
Classic. Classic.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. But anyway, sorry, getting so off topic, but
I love it.
it is what it is. We have a very interesting, crazy show today, I'd say.
Should
Kind
I
of all
start
over
us
the
off
place.
with the cocktail recipe?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
please. I feel like
Well,
we
we
need to
can
get
introduce our topics though.
yeah, but I feel like we need to get, I think I said this last time, but I feel like we need to get a theme song for your like cocktail
I
area.
know. Let's put a little theme song in.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do that this time. We're
Okay.
going
That
to.
sounds good.
And this will be very meta because we're
So
talking
meta.
about doing it.
But please introduce it.
Welcome to Kaisa's Cocktail Corner.
Interesting drink. We named
So
it
ugly
the
looking.
Big Papa.
The Big Papa.
It's,
Yes.
for those of you listening, it is a baby puke green color. It's beautiful. With an orange twist. Let's see. It is made with grapefruit juice, pickle juice, matcha, sake, and tequila, grapefruit garnish.
Oh,
So I have not actually tried it yet. So let's try
that
it.
is a step up from the tequila shot and pickle juice that we were discussing.
Okay, it's actually really good.
And
Really
shout out
good.
to Dane, who has
Yeah,
now
he came
become
up with this.
he's our, what is it? It's like Somali. He's our mixologist for
Yes.
the podcast. Yeah, guys, we're really upgrading. We're doing
So this is
weekly. We got a mixologist on board. We're hitting it all up.
Look at us.
Look at
this
us.
is actually a fancy take on Kim Zolciak's favorite drink, which is a shot of tequila chased with a shot of pickle juice.
Yeah, I would order this, not the
Very
shot.
fitting.
Yeah, very fitting. Yeah, so if you couldn't tell, later on we're going to be talking about all things Kim Zolciak and Croy Bierman and their crazy ass divorce.
Nuts.
But so nutso. I mean, I can't even. But before that, we wanted to touch on one of the biggest crime stories that's come out in the past year that Kaisa and I have been obsessing over since it came out, which is the Idaho killer, Brian Kohberger.
Yeah, we were very obsessed when, I mean, not obsessed, but it was shocking to hear what happened. And then we followed it from the very beginning until they arrested him and beyond. But we were texting each other every day.
Yeah. I remember you found the Reddit manifesto article that came out and you were like, you have to read this. And I was like sitting there in like shock and awe reading it and, you know, finding out all that stuff about him. But yeah, I mean, where do you want to start with it?
I mean, we can start from the beginning, maybe.
I know we both have copious amounts of notes on this.
I know.
It's been like
first came out on the news that there was a mass, basically like a house of students that were murdered. And this is in the middle of Idaho in Moscow, a very quiet area. So it was very big news in that location because not many crimes happen. So it was like shocking. So Kaylee Gonzalez, Ethan Chapin, Zaina Kernodle, and Madison Mogan were all stabbed to death in their house that they were renting on off campus of the college they attended. So it was the night of Saturday, November 12th. And actually this town had not had any murders for 7 years. So it was like very shocking.
Yeah, which is crazy in itself because I feel like we live in a society now that like everywhere has some crazy crime. Like no town is Pleasantville anymore.
Right.
So like hearing that this small town of Moscow, Idaho was just completely crime free or something like this free for that long.
And then there were 2 other roommates, right? That were in the house that were not murdered. And a dog that were not murdered and did not have information about really what happened until, I mean, they come out later talking about it a little bit, but
yeah. So
that was the initial news report. And it was like, what happened? So violent, so dark. I have like a play-by-play of what went on that whole night.
Me too.
They kind of okay, you want to go over it? You can start.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So the police say that the killings took place sometime around 4 a.m. where the 4 students came back to their house around 2 p.m. having a normal Saturday night in the area. So because they went to this college, you know, college towns, parties, all that. The victim's house was on a dead-end street, but investigators were able to identify the car as a Hyundai Elantra, which could be seen passing by the house several times, including at 4:04 a.m. when the car returned and did a 3-point turn in the road near the house. Now at 4:17, according to these investigators as well, a security camera in the area captured distorted audio of what sounded like a whimper and a loud thud, which
this is from a house that was like 50 feet from their house. It was like a Ring camera or something.
Yeah.
So horrifying. I accidentally listened to it and it was really,
you did.
Yeah, it was not okay.
That's a no bueno.
It was a little traumatizing.
Yeah, no. And then at about 4:20 a.m., the car could be seen in a video footage driving away from the neighborhood. So now all of that happened then. And it's pretty interesting as well how the investigators could figure all this out.
Well, okay. So
yeah.
basically the night that it happened, there were so many internet sleuths like pulling up, footage from the street lights, from like randoms.
Yeah,
Twitch
it started reminding me
stuff.
of like, did you watch the Netflix documentary Don't Fuck with Cats?
Yes, that's what it reminded me of too. It was I was like, maybe people were getting a little too intense and like already accusing people, but I think it was helpful.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think another problem with, or something that kind of came out of it, is like everyone was getting really frustrated with the investigators, the police, and the town and everything, because they weren't giving any information. They were pretty much like dead silent for 6 weeks. I mean, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But like, kind of, when I think it just shows how we've become so accustomed to getting information so quickly and instant gratification, that having to wait 6 weeks to hear what really happened, it just drove everyone to be like, I'm going to figure it out myself and start going ham on the internet.
Interesting, because I feel like a lot of internet sleuths came out with stuff before the investigators did. Like I think they predicted the death was like around 3, but then they found out later that Zaina had ordered a DoorDash delivery, and that was at like 4:30 or something. So it had to happen after that.
And they saw that she was like on TikTok. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they saw all this stuff on her phone that actually indicated that she was up. Yeah.
Like, we have all this technology now that they can just piece together exact timelines for things. It's so interesting.
I know, it's so
and
crazy.
We're all on social media all the time. And that's being tracked. So
I know, it's
so
like
crazy.
This is what happens when you sign up. But the reason why we're talking about this again now is because on August 18th, the judge gave Brian's attorneys 3 weeks to submit evidence for the accused for like his alibi. Which right now he has until September 8th or his attorneys have until the 8th, and the trial is set to start October 2nd.
It's coming
up. All this stuff's coming up. I feel like in October, we're going to just be like hammering in on it.
They ruled that there were not going to be cameras, right? I think they decided
they
cameras.
did.
I would love to watch that, but also he's so gross. I feel like he wants that so bad, maybe.
Did you see, so leading up to actually like the investigation figuring out it was him, or getting his DNA and everything, there was I think it was dash cam footage of him with his father.
Yes, he got
being pulled over. Yes. Which was one of the ways they were able to like identify him.
But the FBI actually came out saying that they didn't plan that. But I feel like it had to be part of like his car was flat. Like they knew that was his car, or they said they were checking for like injuries on his hands or something. Like, but the FBI has said otherwise. So who knows?
He also wasn't like an actual suspect, because the DNA pool they were looking at originally was just people who've been
they found like they were looking for that car because that was caught on the
camera
station. Camera. And so they had someone flagged his car at the university. And then they like looked up with the university who it was registered to, and then they followed it to his house and found like that car had been driving through the town. So I think he was actually a suspect, but they kept it like secret, quiet, obviously, from the public.
Yeah. And then they went through the phone records, which also linked him to the area during that time. And he actually did, it looks like he shut his phone off
during the murder.
Yep. And then turned it back on at 4:48 a.m., which put him in south of Moscow.
You know what's fucking crazy. He actually went back after. And
he did.
People are speculating that it's maybe because he left the sheath there.
Yes.
I mean, we're kind of bouncing around, but he left a knife sheath at the scene of the crime. If it was him.
Well, it was found next to what's her name? Maddie's body, and it had a U.S. Marine Corps logo on it too.
Yeah, okay, and that knife is really hard to get, I guess. It's like a collector's item and you have to be in the Marines to get it. And it seems kind of weird that he would choose a unique knife. You know?
Well, maybe that was his way of like making it look like it's not him, because it is so unique that maybe only a certain amount of collectors have it. Or if it's, I don't know,
I feel
like using a sheath that has the Marine logo on it, maybe that was his way of diverting it.
That makes sense. I feel like they're gonna find something like a receipt or something.
Yeah, I know.
Or he ordered it online or something dumb.
Yeah. But honestly, like thinking of it that way too, like he had so much knowledge of what not to do and what to do.
Yeah.
With his history of being a criminal justice student, that it's almost like he knew he could possibly get away with it by like following these steps, but then by obviously like leaving the sheath behind.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe he didn't do something right with the car. I don't know. I'm not an expert in how to get away with murder.
He turned his phone on in Moscow. So
yeah,
he would have known as a criminal justice major and criminal science major that he would be traced with his phone in the car if it were on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it seems really dumb to turn it back on like in the town that you were murdering someone and then drive with it.
Almost makes it seem like maybe he did want to get caught with it then. I don't know. Like,
I know, all of it's kind of
you don't
crazy.
know what like people are trying to do. And then like, I don't know if you were able to like read anything about like his personal history or anything,
he
but
has
like
some mental illness.
Yes,
history.
He did, which seems to be a common link between everyone we've talked about in some way.
Did you read the thing about how he has like a weird aura around his vision?
No, please tell me.
And I can't remember. It was a long time ago when I was like deep in this. It was some journal post he had online, and it was like about this. It's like a condition where there's a fuzzy aura around your vision. And he said it was driving him insane. And like, there are people who have it that blog about it and say it's like a nightmare and it just is always bothering you. And so that's the thing.
That sounds like
that he suffered from.
Yeah.
Not that that makes you murder anyone, but that's something
that
he wrote about in a dark way.
Yeah. I mean, he also was on heroin for a while. He developed an interest in criminals after like 2018, 2019. And he enrolled at DeSales University, which is a Catholic university in Center Valley, Pennsylvania, where he actually studied under Catherine Ramsland, who's a forensic psychologist with 2 books, which I feel like we need to put on our podcast reading list now.
Yes.
Which they're called The Mind of a Murderer and How to Catch a Killer. And then he received his bachelor's in 2020 and his master's in June of 2022, which then leads the Reddit survey he put out in an interesting
very creepy
timeline. It is very creepy. So he put that out in 2022, but after his master's degree, after he received it. So he identified himself as Brian Kohberger, and he asked people who had spent time in prison to take a survey about their crimes. Before the killings, he had briefly engaged in a discussion about forensics, DNA, and other evidence that the prosecution is trying to use to win convictions. And then after the killings, he was still grading papers with his job as a teaching assistant. So he was just like back to normal life, which is so, I mean, I guess that's kind of like what happens, but at the same time, it's so creepy to think he was just like, all right, I murdered 4 people in Idaho and now I'm back in Pennsylvania, and it's all
feel like
just
I read
so
something
strange.
about his grading getting nicer after he got back, which is also weird.
So
just
weird.
a change. Okay, so the affidavit came out, and we were like freaking out when that came out because it shows all of the evidence they have against him, basically. So it's for like a warrant for his arrest, basically. So the knife sheath that was left behind had one single male DNA on it. It was found in bed next to the bodies. It was on the little clasp, and it was his DNA. So, and they also found, obviously, we talked about his car being tracked, but they also found that he had been in that area like 12 times in the past several months, like driving around the area. So maybe,
which is like, why are you here?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And the house was on a dead end street too. So it's like, once you hit the dead end, you're like, okay, this was the wrong turn. I need to go back.
Yeah, like I get the town maybe because there are restaurants and things and it's close to the college he went to, but the street in that area is very like secluded, and
exactly,
you have to be trying to get somewhere to get back there. So weird.
That's such a good point. It's like, I feel like if you have a semi good sense of direction, it's like once you know that this street's dead end, and usually the signs on like the street signs, it says dead end underneath it or something. So it's like,
so he accidentally went down the same dead end
12 times.
12 times.
Okay.
Also, so when they were like tracking him, basically he took a road trip for Christmas across the country with his dad home to the Poconos, and stayed there for Christmas, but the FBI was trailing him and watched him while they were there. They saw him deep cleaning his car, like taking things apart, deep cleaning it.
Red flag
they
number
thought
1.
maybe he was gonna sell it because that car was like flagged, or he was just cleaning up evidence. But he would take the trash, and in the middle of the night or 2 a.m. would bring it out to his neighbor's trash can.
Interesting.
Like, he didn't bring it to his parents' trash can.
He didn't want anything
across
linked.
the street.
Yeah.
But they dug through it, and that's where they found his dad's DNA and then linked him. So that was like the evidence they needed.
Statistical match.
Yes. So
apparently that's a word I cannot say. Just add
honestly,
it to my
that's list. A lot of strikes for one person. So we can say alleged, but we all know. It's like extra firm alleged. Yes. Yeah. Oh, they also found a shoe print that matched one of his shoes, and that was outside of DM. I think that was the other roommate that was alive while this happened and was a witness of a man wearing a mask.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the roommate who opened her door and saw she saw some guy in all black walk, and that, like going towards a sliding door to get out?
Yes. Bushy eyebrows, tall, athletic build, but not large, like thin. And then they basically proved her statement right by having the shoe print right outside her door. So she definitely could have seen him. So creepy. Can you imagine? Many people online came for her, and I feel really bad.
I feel bad. Like, it's not
her
shit fault.
So differently. Yeah,
it's not her fault. She didn't plan on surviving this or being one of 2 survivors, and she also did her best, like going through such a traumatic experience. She didn't do anything wrong. Like, she's done her part now by coming forward, sharing what she remembered from that night, and
she
it all
didn't
adding
remember
up.
Much.
No,
And like, who knows what's going through your mind when you hear people screaming, who knows
Yeah.
what she heard. And then like a masked person, I don't know, she probably went into shock and totally, some people do go into fight or flight and like do something. Some people freeze, which I would probably do. You shut down and like your brain goes into protective mode and it probably blacks things out if you're traumatized by something.
Yeah, I mean,
so
there's actually in therapy a couple weeks ago I learned that there's more than just fight or flight. It's like fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Oh, fawn.
Yeah. So fawn is when you kind of turn into yourself and you're like, I'm so sorry, like doing anything in your power to kind of like calm the situation down. So acting like a little deer in the woods, like, oh no, please don't hurt me, I'm sorry, like. And then obviously, like you just said, freeze. So normally we think of fight or flight, but apparently there is, I didn't know until 2 weeks ago there were two more, because I thought like flight and freeze were kind of the same, but it turns out they're not. So
wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. My therapist didn't teach me that.
Well, sounds like you need to talk
Get it
to
together.
them. Get it together.
So for your listeners, basically, if you haven't read about this, the murderer was walking towards the roommate they called DM, her room, as he exited the house. And she said she cracked her door and saw a masked man there. And the internet kind of went crazy and was like, why didn't she call anyone right away? Like, she just basically closed the door and went back to bed. And they had been out drinking. There were so many things involved that
there's so many other,
I don't know,
things that happened.
Terrible. They came for her. Like, she's already been through a lot. Anyway.
Yeah, let's leave her alone.
On that. Yes.
Yeah, leave her alone. She doesn't deserve that.
One interesting thing though, when they did call 911, they told the operator there was an unconscious person, and there were a bunch of people there other than the roommates that were like passing the phone around, and they're all freaking out. But no one said anything about a murder. And when the police showed up, they found like the horrible massacre, but there was like blood dripping out of the walls of the house. Like, I don't know why they said there was an unconscious person. It was probably shock as well. Like, they didn't want to believe that they were murdered or something. Like, is just very strange. No one said anyone was murdered.
That is really strange. I never heard that part, but
isn't that weird?
Now I'm kind of like, why did they not say?
Were they just calling from their room? Chaos. I don't know.
Yeah,
they were
I'm sure
outside.
there's chaos.
Yeah, they're all passing the phone around, and someone said someone's unconscious. We need help, and so they sent medics because they thought someone
and not
would be alive. You know,
homicide unit or whatever they're called.
So that's crazy.
Crazy town. Well,
we jumped all over the place with that one, but
we did.
We've just been so deep in that for so long.
And you know what? We said at the beginning of this podcast, we are tired. We work hard. We're going to be real unfiltered and all over the place. So just get on board. This is like our normal conversations as women and friends, that we bounce around 19 topics, but it always comes back around in the end.
The ADHD is real. I'm actually diagnosed with ADHD.
I know.
Hi. So yay. Hi.
Hi. Yeah. Oh man. This is so great. This is gonna be we're gonna get a review on this one being like, what the fuck are they doing? Also, don't forget to review, subscribe, and follow us.
Yeah, we need some more reviews so we can
love
read them.
The reviews. I practically cried last episode with Kaiser reading them.
That was cute.
So cute.
That was so cute.
But anyway, I guess on a more, I want to say lighter, but it's really not.
It's not. Yeah, this is just a dark episode.
A more super chaotic.
Somehow Kim makes everything fun though, in a weird way.
Everything so
like trashy fun.
Okay. So like we said at the beginning of this, we're gonna talk about Kim Zolciak and Croy Bierman's second round of divorce, I guess.
Let me just take a big sip.
Take a giant gulp, just down the whole thing while I introduce this. So in case you haven't heard or you're not fans of Bravo, which how can you not be at this point if you're still listening to us? Croy Bierman and Kim Zolciak met on an episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, with Kim actually being on. Was she on the first season? I want to say yes. Maybe she wasn't. Yes. Maybe two.
Okay, now
season
I don't
2.
know. Yeah, I think she may have come in like
She came in early.
Yeah.
Her and Nene, friends, foes,
Yes.
back and forth. But yes, so they met at a charity event in 2010 when Kim saw Croy's ass and said, "He's hot." And the rest is history. They got married in 2011 and they now have 4 kids together. And Croy. I don't know. When I hear Croy, I want to say Kronk, and then I start going like, pull the lever,
I want
Kronk.
to say crayfish.
Oh man, I'm so sorry, everyone. We're off today. It's fine. We're not
have
off.
fun with
We're
us.
having a great time.
Yeah.
Yes, but anyway, Croy actually adopted Kim's 2 children, Brielle and Ariana, from her first relationship. And that was in 2019. But yeah, so they met, got married, had 4 children, which are super cute, by the way. If you ever watched one of their many spin-offs.
Yeah, they have a few shows.
They had so many. They had Don't Be Tardy for the Wedding. Then they had like Their Family. Yeah, but so unfortunately in May of this year, Croy originally filed for divorce, stating that Kim had a serious gambling addiction.
And we saw that in
we
some
did.
of the episodes. She was buying like $30,000 worth of scratch-offs.
Which is also why she needed to be with someone like Big Papa, hence why our drink is called this.
That's her sugar daddy. Who was anonymous.
Yes, we never knew, but she got to live such a high life.
He bought her that Range Rover.
I just will always remember her just fully chain smoking in her shitty wig in like the first
wig that's pulled down she was on. Too far.
Yes, her chain smoking, and then with her solo cup with her roadie, like
it's so funny.
Living her life as you take a nice gulp of that. But yeah, so Croy said she had a massive gambling problem. Kim accused Croy that's a lot of alliteration right there.
Accused Croy.
Kim accused Croy of smoking weed, and being a potential danger to the kids. I love when I bring something new. Can we get a sticker that flashes that's like newsflash?
Yeah. Wait, was that from one of the police calls?
Yes.
That she made? Okay.
In May, when the police actually showed up and because of a domestic dispute. But we're getting to that. So then in July, they filed to dismiss the divorce, and then not too long ago, Croy went back and said, "Nope, I actually want to get divorced. It's irrevocably broken." Okay, we're hitting all the words I cannot pronounce today. This is really fun. And he wants sole legal and sole physical custody of the 4 kids, and also is asking for child support as well as alimony. However, they have no money.
Right.
They have nothing.
Like the only money they do have is tied up in the house, which they've now said that they both agree they need to sell. So they're selling it, even though it's being taken away.
That though?
Yeah.
Do you believe that they both agree on it? Or do you think Kim is just saying
video? Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I think he probably demanded it. Like he did it in court, and then she apparently was mad, but then came back on that paparazzi video where she's like,
to TMZ.
It was both of us.
It's mutual.
It's
mutual. I can't sound like her. I wish I could.
It's
mutual.
I can't.
Sorry. But I mean, they're so tied up in so many financial issues. Like this isn't the first.
Okay, one. They owe on one of the police recordings, so we don't know if this is real. Croy said that in the last 2.5 years, Kim has gambled away $750,000, and then he was like, probably 1.1 million in the entire marriage.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not
credit
surprised.
cards.
So then there's the Saks/Capital One credit card, which they're suing her. The card was issued with a $115,000 limit. Must be nice.
Can Can you imagine?
But the company says her last payment was back in September 2022 for only $4,179. So why'd you give her such a credit? Capital One / Saks.
Also,
And why
you'd
don't
think
we
she
get
could
that
sell
kind of
one
credit?
bag and pay that back. By the
Yeah.
way, she said she was selling her bags and none of the money has gone towards any of their debts.
Yes,
they found.
and not just
So,
her stuff either, but her kids' stuff too. Have you
I
seen
think
those
this
videos
is a
she posts?
real problem. Like she
Yeah.
has a real mental illness with spending, and it's sad. That's sad.
And Target's suing her too.
Yeah, so much. So
And
many.
the IRS. They owe the IRS $1.1 million for unpaid taxes, interest, and penalties.
And
then
their house is like $3 million, right? How much is their house worth?
So on Zillow, which I actually did look up, by the way, because I'm a Zillow addict. I don't know about you guys.
Is it up for sale?
Yes, I love Zillow. Love it. I go on there every day.
We do too.
It's an addiction.
We play the game, what could we afford in a different state?
Yes, I love that game. Oh my God, let's be
so
neighbors
fun.
in like one of those states.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So the house is up on Zillow. It's 9,407 square feet. It's listed for a little over 3.15 million. And it has, if you haven't seen it on all of the 8 seasons of Bravo show, Don't Be Tardy.
It's gaudy.
It is so bad.
It's so bad. It's like
it needs
bad.
Jesus.
There's so much
it
weird
needs
marble shit.
everything.
And like,
it's so bad. You thought Teresa Giudice's house was bad.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
This puts
Awful.
it to shame.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Teresa's house was just.
Kim was asked how much the maintenance of the house was.
Mm-hmm.
I think on their show, and she was like at least a couple $1,000 a day.
Yeah, and she just says it like, whatever, it's fine. I mean, don't you remember their wedding?
There's a lot of like denial in her brain. I would die if I had that much debt. It would be so stressful and crushing.
Yeah, I mean, at least
she's just ignoring it.
Yeah, at least Croy is admitting like, hey, we need help.
Yeah.
Like going to the court and trying to tell the judge that's overseeing their divorce for permission to sell for $3 million. And then like he's been forced to sell a bunch of personal items just to avoid a foreclosure, which was.
But they found none of that money went towards it.
Well, no, his did. So he sold his own stuff. And that was to keep the house from being on the auction block back in February. And then, like you said, Kim has been selling. I'm doing massive air quotes if you're not seeing this video clip.
Really
yeah, but like selling hers and her daughter's stuff.
Also really sad to bring your kids into it.
Yeah.
Like,
also, she's been selling her wigs.
Yes. Can we buy a Kim wig, please?
Should we buy a Kim wig? I feel like we need an Andy Cohen Watch What Happens Live Clubhouse.
It's just a wig, a Kim wig.
Yeah, I just want a Kim. We need 2 Kim
What
wigs.
else would we put in there?
Oh my God, that'd be a fun game.
I
used to have a bottle of Ramona's white wine. Anyway, however, none of the funds from Kim's sales, her personal sales, have gone towards the mortgage or any of the bills. So the house, they haven't been able to pay the mortgage since May, which is why it's now going into foreclosure and why it's listed on Zillow. But yeah, this is just a really ugly, nasty divorce.
Yeah, and if you do watch the police footage, it's ridiculous. Like they're screaming, they're sobbing, like Kim saying her dog's in danger and like screaming about the purses being taken away from her.
Yeah, it's
and in front of the kids. Like, can you imagine having kids?
Those poor kids. Those poor kids. I can't even. I mean, granted, I'm a child of divorce. I've heard it, seen it, whatever. But
this is in the public eye.
Yeah, this is really bad. This is not okay. But I mean, I guess we'll be seeing whatever comes out of it because TMZ is like on it and Page 6 every day with something new.
There's a rumor she is going to possibly be on the next Ultimate Girls trip.
Ah, yes, I saw that.
So,
which we're still at it, but
it could not. Yeah, it could not be happening. Who knows?
Yeah. I feel like I could go on a full rant right now about Ultimate Girls trip.
I know.
And
I don't know how I feel about it.
no, I feel like we're being robbed of Alex McCord coming back for
Yes.
one season. I would have given anything to see her come back for one season.
Me too.
And if we don't get it,
Honestly,
I'm gonna be
and this is
devastated.
very controversial, but I would love to watch Brandy.
Yeah, me too.
I know that's bad. I know
No,
that's bad.
I just want to understand what's going on there. Like, is it really like because we haven't seen it, because we don't know. Okay, so if you haven't heard, apparently there was some kind of
altercation.
Yes, an altercation between Brandy Glanville and Caroline Manzo on a already recorded, produced, edited version of Ultimate Girls Trip, which was going to have them and Alex McCord from Real Housewives of New York that we have not seen in forever. She now lives in Australia. Like, I want to know what's going on with some of these women.
I think it was sexual harassment. Yeah. So of course I don't want to condone that or support it or give them money.
Absolutely.
And I think they're doing the right thing by not airing it, but like
agreed.
I just love the chaos of
Brandy. Yeah. I wish I kind of want them. I wonder if they could do like what RuPaul's Drag Race did with like the Sherry Pie season.
Where they don't really show them.
Yeah, where they don't really show that one, even though they did win a good amount of times, and I think was going to be in the top 4.
That was awful.
It was really awkward.
I'm glad they did that. They
me too. And they donated so much money to so many great organizations based on what happened. And I don't know. I feel like maybe they could go that way. Thank you for letting me have my 2-minute rant.
I agree.
I feel like we're in the same boat.
I know. Don't come for us.
Don't come for us. But come for us in a good way.
Or do. Yeah.
Or do. You know what? It's fine.
We welcome all attention.
We welcome all.
Just like Bravo.
Like Bravo. Speaking of come for us and Bravo and all that stuff, can you recommend that show you were telling me about, please, and describe it in a little bit more detail?
Okay. So I don't know if you guys listened to previously Bitch Sesh, now Garbage World. It's a subscription-based podcast with Casey Rose Wilson and Danielle Schneider, and it's just so amazing. Good. But they brought up Welcome to Plathville, I believe it's called. And it's basically this little town in Georgia, I believe. This family that's very religious. They don't allow their kids to watch TV, have sugar. Like, they're very restrictive on what the kids can do. They can't wear jeans. That's too revealing, or like
jeans.
There are a lot of weird rules. And then, so when they get on this reality TV show, the older kids that are in their teenage years, like 16 and up, start to like venture out and do things. Like, they didn't have friends outside of their house. They were
just
homeschooled.
Their family.
Like,
oh my God.
Not literally didn't see anything outside of their house.
These lives.
Yeah. I mean, they just played on the farm. They were like, we walk around barefoot everywhere. Like, it's very strange. But these teenagers venture out and start to like have soda and like slowly,
oh my God, like full Coke.
And then I'm not going to give anything away, but like some get kicked out of the house, and then like the film crew follows them and what they're doing, and it's really interesting to see like how far they swing, you know.
That sounds, it reminds me of a couple things. So first, it reminds me of that TV show Breaking Amish.
Oh, that was so good.
It was so good. Oh, it got so bad. It got so bad, but it was so good. Yes. And then I'm trying to look this up, probably doing a bad job of doing it. But there's this documentary about this family that doesn't leave their apartment, but the kids are allowed to watch movies, and they reenact the movies. They like write this, they print out, they write the scripts, they like reenact. I'm trying to look it up at the same time as doing this. I'm so sorry, guys. It has been a day.
Don't apologize.
Thank you, guys.
Live your life.
Nice. Oh, it's called The Wolf Pack. Sweet.
Oh. I have never heard of that.
Yes. So it's a documentary called The Wolf Pack from 2015. It's about the Angulo family who homeschooled and raised their 7 children. And in the confinement of their apartment in the Lower East Side of New York.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Bori says hi.
Bore.
So they were locked away in their apartment for 14 years, and the kids all like watch these movies and they reenact them. And then, like you said, like one of the kids leaves the house one time and it's like, what happens then? Not to give it away, but
I need to check that out.
We've
been hooked on this because it's nuts. I don't know, the parents' questionable choices, and there are times when Dane and I were just like yelling at the TV.
Oh my God, I love when that happens though, where it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why?
So manipulative.
You know when I do that the most?
I'm
gonna admit this on our podcast. Is that my big fat gypsy wedding?
Oh.
Yes. My cousin Chelsea got me super hooked.
I've never watched it.
Oh my God. My big fat American gypsy wedding. Oh my God. So the dress designer is actually out of Boston, which I find hilarious.
Oh, amazing.
But it's like all these gypsy people who like have their weddings, and it's the most. Let me put it this way. Teresa Giudice's wedding, her to Louis, ain't got nothing on these ladies. And they're like 19. He's really upset that he's not a part of this podcast right now. I don't know if you've heard him growling. I have a 10-pound Pomeranian who thinks he runs my life because he does.
He's the cutest dog ever.
Thanks.
Like, and I have 3 dogs that I love.
He's a
lot, but Boris the cutest.
Do you want to say hi? No, you don't. Okay, cool. Anyway,
we'll share a photo.
We'll share photos. We have to share photos of the pack too.
The pack, my band.
I love the pack. I love them. I want them to drop their album.
I know. What kind of music genre do you think it would be? Pop punk?
Norwegian black metal.
Somehow that's very accurate.
Fitting. And on that note, I think we need to wrap it up. I think we both need to go to bed. Anyway,
we do.
Thank you all for joining us on this hectic, chaotic, but super fun episode of Crime, Cocktails, and BS. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Crime, Cocktails, and BS. We are here. We are fun.
Please rate, review, and subscribe.
Thank you. I didn't know what else to say. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.